Hello. Okay. We're good to go. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining me again on one more live stream, this time on Wednesdays, where we are working on a Laravel Carousel package. Let's see. I feel like I'm out of frame here. Maybe so. Yeah. Better. Okay. And if you remember from last week, and I truly hope you don't, we had a slight hiccup because let me show you how the thing was last week, and then I'll show you why. Well, you're gonna see why in just a second. So not this one. Resources.js app.js. So last week this was like this. And in fact, let me save microphone, get out of the way, thank you. And if I say that, I'm currently running Vite server, so this is where we end up last week. Basically, Alpine.js was saying, I don't know what you're talking about, what carousel data, you're crazy, please fix your mistakes. And all you have to do is just move this little line up here, because in the bootstrap, .js is where Alpine.js starts, and if Alpine.js starts without knowing the declaration of my carousel data function, which I am using to initialize an Alpine.js component, then makes sense that Alpine.js does not know about any function. So yeah, as soon as you save this, all errors go away, and everything works. Well, kinda. What's going on here? Why is it cutting off in the border? First one doesn't have that mistake. And in fact, everything seems to be lined up perfectly, but the second one, Okay, that's not gonna let me enjoy live. Let me fix that right away. What's happening? Seems to be so hard to see. So this cuts right here. So that's the frame? No. I'm sorry, the light is in my eyes. I have to put my hand here so I don't... So it cuts off right there. Oh, it's a padding thing issue. So there's a padding thing here in this div, which is what? Is that this? Yeah, that's the slide. It has a padding. And then this here has a minus padding. Huh. What happens if I take this padding off? Oop. Yeah, that doesn't work. What if I take this padding off? Everything breaks. But I guess that's just the carousel component reacting to document changes. So let me do it for realsies. And our packages, resources, views, components, carousel index. So first up, I guess this one's the one that is messing up things. Maybe if we remove this one, because a minus padding is just moving things to that way. So let's delete this one. Yeah, that works. But then again, now this button is misaligned. Like the frame is it's too much to the right. And that's because of the padding that it's right here. So let's just remove that padding then. Padding left 4. Did you not do it? Oh, I did in the first one, but I have to do it in all of them. That's the problem if you don't have... we're going to work on this. We're going to break this down into several smaller components so that when I make a change, I don't have to do it in all of the other elements. Remove that and remove that. This one looks fine. There you go. Yeah, that looks better. I don't know why ShadCN, because I do remember that was coming from ShadCN. Why did they do it like that? Oh, that's the spacing. To set a spacing between items, we use padding left value on the carousel item, and then a negative value on the carousel content. Why? We try to use the gap property on a grid layout. Yeah, but I'm not using grid. I'm using flex. But it required a lot of math and mental effort to get the spacing right. I found padding, yeah, but that's not working for me though. I'm not gonna work on spacing right now, but I think I like it better like this. So I'm gonna keep it without the padding. If at some point we get into an issue where we are offering the option of having more space between slides and it's not aligning, we'll revisit the design, but for now looks good. Okay, so now we can begin, and the task of today is, since we're talking about options, I want to introduce some sort of way of letting the user passing options to the carousel component as properties, and then reacting to those properties in the initialization of the Embla carousel. For example, there is one property, and I'm going to open the Embla carousel API in the options section, and let's see, this one. I want to do two today. First one is loop, which allows enables infinite looping on the Embla, and let me show you how that looks actually. Oh, before I do that, since I don't want to, I'm gonna be making changes to the Carousel package JavaScript, and I don't want to be rebuilding that every time, because right now what I'm doing in here in the demo project is I am including the disk file, which is the compile file, and I don't want to be compiling it all the time, so I'm gonna change this real quick. Marcio Soares Sotelli, what a great name, man. Good evening from Brazil mentioned. Let's go. This series is useful and very good, and I am very grateful that you find it useful and that you like it. Thank you for being here. You're awesome. So I'm, instead of using the dist folder, I'm going to use, what is it? Let me check. Guess I can check the carousel. Hey Shane, how you doing, man? Congratulations on the package, by the way. I saw the video, really nice. And I think I'm gonna use it from now on. If you guys don't know, there is a new Laravel filament installer just like the Laravel installer, but for Filament. It's really nice. Go check that video. Resources. So I'm using, where is it? This folder here. Oh, here it is. So I'm using this folder and this one, but that's just gibberish. So I want to instead use the raw index.js file, which is where I'm going to be making changes. Oh, that'll be great. Installing Sail. Laravel Sail, yeah. Oh, no problem at all. I immediately thought of you about that, but yeah, I hope that goes well, by the way. So let me remove these 2 lines. So yeah, I'm gonna be making changes on this file. Is it this file or the other one? No, it's this file, because this one does include the carousel data here. So I'm gonna be making changes on here, on this file. And since I don't want to compile every time, I'm going to include this file. Willy Lustig, consider using the Filament Test plugin once it's released. Are you asking? I don't know what about that plugin. Filament Tests plugin once it's released. Is that like let me check. Filament Test plugin. This one? Oh, what's this for? Yeah, is this for a package that creates best tests specifically tailored? Oh, that's really nice. Because Filament has its own assertions and stuff like that. So yeah, that sounds really, really useful. Like, right now, if I have to do it, I have to go back to the documentation every time to just create a test for a resource or create a test for a page or something like that. Like seeing records on a table, creating a record. So a package for that sounds really, really interesting. Pretty cool. I'll be sure to check it out and start. Okay, so going back to this here, instead of this, I'm going to use change inside Word, JS, and index. And let's just make sure that nothing breaks. When I do that, console, nope, everything's good, everything's working. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I was going to show you how does the loop thing looks like. So whenever you initialize the Embla carousel, you can pass a second parameter like so, which is basically just an object. And in this object, you can include all of your options. So for example, if you say loop and this is a Boolean, when you go back to the component, you notice that you can infinitely loop through all of the slides, going back as well. So yeah, I want to have the option to pass this option, but back in the demo page, which is this one here, resources, views, demo. So I want to have the option to say, let's say, I don't know, loop equals true. And I messed that up. Loop equals true. So yeah, I want to do that, and then the option to be carried out all the way to the Embla package and the Embla component initialization. So let's work on that. So let's actually save this, and nothing's gonna break because we are not using this property anywhere. So first thing I need to do is I want to receive this parameter. So let's do props, and let's receive this as loop. And I guess the best way to pass this option back or down to the Embla initialization call is through the init method. So the init method is defined here. So passing down probably an object with all of the options would be the best way, because then I can just take that and just put it here. What carousel package is this? Yeah, Embla, that's correct. I need a carousel for a site I'm making too. I hope this actually helps you out. We can talk offline, see if we can hook you up. But it should be ready in like, at least the package for Laravel should be ready in a couple of weeks at this rate. Looping by default seems appropriate. Okay, we can make it default. And then just turn it off if we want to. So in fact, let's just make it default. Right here, we can in here we can just pass a default value as true. So if you don't include the parameter, it will always be true. So let's think about the so I want to pass an array about an object here with all of the options. So the best thing I can do is maybe let's create a small PHP block over here. And let's say options, and let's define these as an array. And let's set the loop option as the prop. And then there is a very handy helper in Laravel that will take an array and transform that into a JavaScript object, or a basic JavaScript representation of whatever variable you pass in. Usually works with arrays actually. So you can do JS. Yeah. How can I get that, by the way? Blade syntax highlighting. It has never bothered me, but at least those PHP blocks, yeah, those never get highlighted. Guess it's because it's not inside or within an HTML element. Is there a package for that, or an extension that I don't know about? So if you do JS from blade formatted, I think has highlighted blade formatter. Shift Command X. Come on. An opinionated blade file formatter. Oh, I don't like the word opinionated. Indents automatically. markup inside directives, automatically add spacing to blade templates, BSR2 support. Tell you what, I'm not gonna do it right now, just because I don't want to be, if it's too opinionated, it's gonna, we're gonna be fighting a lot. So I'll give it a try off screen, and maybe you'll see it next week or next Friday being used. But anyway, so JS from. They use proper Laravel defaults. Yeah, so I agree with that. The problem is whenever I hear the word opinionated, it seems like it's gonna go we're gonna have a problem. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just being I don't know. Maybe it's just some prejudice. But yeah, I'll give it a try. Don't worry. JS from, and you call that with an array. In this case, is options. And that is going to transform. Wait a second. I need to use echo. Like so. Okay, so that will turn this array into a JavaScript valid object. In fact, I have a test here to show it off. Let's make this a little bigger. So when you take an array of key value pairs and you run it through JS from, what you get is this string right here, which looks kind of funny, but if you take that and plop it into a console, you actually get a valid JavaScript object. So that's exactly what I need. JS, by the way. I've never heard that. Does that do the same thing? Let me see. Can I do it here? I probably can't do it here. So but add JS is just the equivalent of doing JS from. It's a blade directive. Yeah. I'm just wondering if it's going to do the same. Let's try. So let's instead of doing all of this, let's try your method. So delete, insert, JS, options. Let's see how that looks. Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna save, and hopefully this doesn't break much. Let's check it out. Let's inspect this. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's the same thing. I didn't know. Here it is, JSON parse, exactly the same format. Perfect. That makes the code a lot easier to read. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so now we are passing an array of options down to xinit. So let's go to xinit here. Let's receive that. And I'm gonna make it empty by default just in case. And then I can replace this object here with just options. Go back. It's on by default, so yeah, it works. Awesome. Perfect. Well, that was quick. Great. Okay, we're making good time. The other option that I wanted to work, and this one's going to be a little bit more involved, so that's why I just want to make two. We can work on even more, but for now I just want to work on one more option, which is, and in fact they use it in the ShadCN example. Let me show you. Orientation. So you can pass an option. In this case, they label it as vertical and horizontal. So you can switch between going left and right instead go top and bottom, which I believe is it's kind of cool. So I'm going to keep this here because I want to work on the design that they use, and I'm probably going to copy their parameter format. Delay should also be configurable, in my opinion. What's delay? Let's see. You mean duration? Set scroll duration when triggered by any API methods. Higher numbers enable slower scrolling. Yeah, to make it more snappy, you mean? Duration is not in milliseconds because Embla for automatic looping. Oh, delay for automatic looping? I don't see that option. But now that you mention it, duration is actually something that we could do so that drag interactions are not affected because duration. Okay, duration is not in milliseconds because, let me make this bigger. Embla uses the attraction physics simulation with scrolling instead of easing. Only values between 20 and 60 are recommended. So I'm guessing the higher the number, the quicker the easing. Let me try that out. I just want to see how it looks. What was it called? Duration. Let's set it up to something, let's say double. 25 is the default, so let's set it up to 50. No, actually, the higher the number, it's really slow. Like, How about 20, which is the lower that they recommend? Super snappy. Actually, I like that. I wouldn't go as high as 50, about 30. If I want to make this an option, I wouldn't want to give the user, like, give me a number, because that's dangerous. So I probably want to constrain the options to maybe slow, normal, and fast, and include that in documentation. And if the value is not in those three, I'll just default to normal, which will be 25. So 20, 25, 30. Sounds good. We'll do that last. I want to work on the orientation first. So let's go back to the demo and let's scaffold this out. How do we want it? Let's say orientation, and let's pass in vertical. So if I do that, then the thing should look like this. Of course, they're playing around with the spacing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to work on the stacking and the buttons. Give it a snail. How does that look, by the way? Now I'm interested. Well, I thought it would be slower than that. It is definitely, jeez. You can cancel it though. You saw that? I mean, 1. I want to move to 2, but if I click it again, it's gonna go all over to 3. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. But yeah, we can give it an option. And in fact, yeah. I finally understand your recommendation of delay or auto looping. Auto looping, that's another option that we can. I should be writing this down. Hold on. So we want auto loop, speed, and auto loop delay. Okay. Noted. I'm going to take this duration back to 25. Actually, 20. Up until the point where we actually include it as analog notes, pen and paper. Always keep pen and paper at hand, no matter what. If you have an idea, write it down, and you can get back to it later. If you're watching a tutorial or you're making research, write everything down. Sorry. As soon as you learn something, write it down, because that takes the information out of your head into the paper, and it forces your brain to think about what you just learned. And that is key to cementing knowledge. Quick tip. Let's see. This one is always going to be horizontal by default. Guess I should start formatting this in a better way. Well, yeah, to be honest, I'm just talking about my experience. I think that I should say based on my experience, but yeah, you're right. I don't know, I didn't used to like it, to be honest, until I saw a video about journaling, and I thought, that's dumb. I don't like pens. And in fact, I used to always use pencils. This is a it doesn't look like it, but this is a pencil that you can erase, because my penmanship is crap, and I was always writing something and immediately made a mistake, and I have mild dyslexia, so I always mix up letters and numbers. So yeah, I always use a pen, because I never trust my penmanship. But I saw the video about journaling, and then I started just as a test, like let's try it for fun for a week. And I started using pens, because if you use a pen, then your brain has to focus on what you're writing, and I have to do it. I have to focus on what I'm writing, because I don't want to make mistakes, because if you make a mistake, then you have to, there's no easy way to fix it. And I don't know, that kind of clicked for me. And then I started doing research and watching tutorials about things that I wanted to learn. And I started writing what I just learned. And that actually really helped in not having to go back to the source material every other time. I don't know. If you don't mind me asking, the dyslexia, is that equally apparent on PC? What do you mean on PC? I read PC and I immediately think Windows. Is that can be right? In my case, I just like the control and oh yeah, it's a nightmare. Well, yeah, it does. It does actually. It is way worse. In fact, I can't tell you how many times I made a mistake where I need to type a number, like let's say 465, and I type 465. You see, I can't even think about that. I switched the 5 and the 6, and I can't even see it when I type it. And in my mind, I type the right number, but I swap two numbers. And then when I go back and nothing's working, and there's a bug somewhere and I can't find it, and it's just, yeah, you know. And yeah, it's worse when I type. It's not so much when I write, because again, for some reason when I write, I'm actually concentrating more on what I'm writing. What I do struggle is swapping the command and control keys. That is actually very, very hard for me. Yeah. I guess I'm not alone. The life of a developer. So let's see. The option for orientation is actually different in the API here. So is it direction? No. Active axis. Axis is the one I'm looking for. So in the Embla Carousel documentation, they use axis X and Y. X will be horizontal, Y will be sorry, will be vertical. So let's work on that real quick. So the option name will be axis. And we can say orientation equals to, or vertical. Let's actually do vertical. Y. Otherwise, X, because X will be default. Yeah, that looks good. But I think they mentioned something. Okay, let's just pass the option and see what that does. And then I'm going to go to chatCN and just copy what they did. So with that, let's go back here. So now I'm passing orientation or axis Y. Yeah, obviously it's trying to do that, but since the slides are stacked vertically because of the flex container, then it's just moving all of the slides from bottom to top. And if I do the opposite, top to bottom. Yeah. So in this case, let's go, let's move this here and let's see what did shadn do in this case. Let's inspect this. Just a thought, but what about accepting closures in case you want to dynamically apply an option? That's a good idea. Let me write that down. Closures as parameters. Accept. Keyboard, move out of the way. I'm going to look into that. In fact, that's something that Filament does a lot, right? Like accepting closures for dynamic values. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. Okay, so this is, what is this? This is the container, I'm guessing. Let's make this a bit smaller. Here it is. So this here, they're doing flex call, margin top, I don't care about that, and then a height. Evaluate from Filament. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. And in fact, it is a good idea. So flex, I guess the first thing I need to do is to conditionally render a flex call in the, where is it? Here in the container. Yes, that'll take all of the slides from here to here. So here we can actually do, let's use the Laravel's class directive. I can't type today. Why is that? And let's replace this with, in fact, let's do this. Change surrounding tag. No, that's not it. Change surrounding double quotes with single quotes. Perfect. And then visual around single quotes and surround with, oh god, nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay, so this is a class, and every item in this class, if we don't provide a key, or actually if we don't provide a value, it will be default. So in this case, flex is always default, but we can say flex call only if for orientation, yeah, orientation equals vertical. Pranab, how you doing? I have a question, of course. I am using tenancy for Laravel with Filament version 3 and I'm facing an issue. While uploading files, it's not showing an error. Can you help me fix it? Of course I can. I don't know if I will be able to help you right now, but do in fact, there is a link in the description of this video that will take you to my Discord server. Let me know if that's expired, by the way. I haven't checked. If it is, I'll put another one here. So join my Discord server, go to the Filament help section. I think it's under technical help, and post your question there with any other information that seem relevant, code examples or whatever you're trying to do. And I'll be sure to check that and give you a hand. Sound good? Awesome. Okay, if I do that, kinda. Okay, so I guess we do need a hide. So my slides are now stacked on top of each other, but I can see them all. So there is no scrolling. No problem, I'm here to help. So I guess let's try out giving this an actual height, which is on the flex, where is it? Flex call. Do they do the height on the flex call too? Yeah. H 200 pixels, but I guess I'm gonna need more than that. So let's do this. On this one, I'm going to give this element style. Let's give this a height. Let's try out something. Why are you sure you need to apply styles for horizontal and vertical yourself? Since the plugin is supposed to... No, actually, the plugin actually says that... Remember to stack your slides horizontally or vertically. Yeah, it doesn't do it. That's the problem. It doesn't seem like something that they do. It's something like that we need to do. And in fact, that's why I wanted to follow what they are doing, because see, this class does not show up flex call and a height. That's a class that doesn't show up when they're doing the vertical thing. Only flex. So I'm guessing the component does handle the translation in 3D, like the easing and stuff, but they're not in charge of the container. Let's try 200 pixels as they did. Okay, so that takes it down, but it's cutting up top and bottom. So let's try something that we like. I want to see those borders up and top and bottom. Come on, keep going. You can do it. Oh, there it is. 315 and around 312. 315. What's the closest one that we get out of Tailwind CSS? Uh, 320, 384. 320 is not gonna work. It's too little. Well, maybe. I guess 320 would work, but I do want to give it some space, because I guess 320 is way too tight. So let's go all the way to... what was it? 384 maybe. So if we go to 384, he didn't like that. All right, so let's try 384. So in this case, I'm gonna add X flex call and also H80. Was it 80? No, 96. Okay. No, that's too much. Way too much space below. $80 would be better. Thought it was going to be tight, but actually it was just fine. Why I hate that I don't have a number in between. Feel like 80 is too tight, 90 is way too much. I'll keep it at 80 right now. It does look good. There is no cropping up and down. Hey, Dijit, how you doing? My day is going great. Thank you very much for asking. How's your day going? Okay. Now let's work on the buttons. They do take the buttons from here to here and from here to here. And I do have a slight idea of how they could be doing this, because these are absolute positioned. I'm guessing they just swap. Yeah. See, minus bottom. And what we are doing is minus left. So instead of left, they do bottom for the, yeah. This one will go to the bottom and this one will go to the top. Have you used Pusher with Filament yet? Try this, never used before. No, I haven't. I will give it a try. So Pusher, that's Pusher. So the new reverb, is it? That'll be the logical thing to do. So, guess this is gonna look messy, but we're gonna fix it. So what I'm going to do is same thing with this. We're gonna have default classes, which are going to be from here all the way down to rounded full. All of those are going to be default classes. The only classes that are going to change are these three. So instead of left, we're going to do bottom. Instead of top, we're going to do left. And instead of translate Y, translate X, is it? Yeah. So bottom 12, so that'll take it to the bottom. Left half will I don't know what that does. Translate X, Y. This centers it, but this one, what does this one do? Okay, so that will take it to the center, and then the translate X, Y, sorry, translate X will just align it to the center. So those are the only ones that are going to change. Try to build a child application, but did not work, I guess. I am using Pusher because it is hosted, and for locally, we can use Reverb, I guess. Yeah. If you don't want to have to deal with with hosting your own backend for Pusher, yeah. That sounds like a good idea. The good thing is that if you implement it locally with Pusher, if you switch to the hosted Pusher option, the protocol is the same. So nothing changes there, I'm assuming. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna use class again. So class, and in fact, let me start formatting this a bit better. So that'll be click, type button, and then class. And it's gonna go all the way down to rounded full. Will be all of these will be. I should have replaced this. Single quotes and all the way to rounded full. That's one entry in the array, which by the way I'm not using right now. So there's the array. Let's add another one. All the way to here. So that's, I have to close the array and close the parentheses there. Now this left 12, top half, and translate y will be dependent on orientation equals to, let me close this to get more space back, horizontal. And we're going to need another one again. In this case, we're going to do minus bottom 12 left half, and then minus translate x half, and all of that. Sorry if this looks super messy. All of that depends on orientation being vertical. Let me review that. Bottom half, left half, translate x. Bottom, no, I'm looking at this. Oh, the top, this one should be at the top. Is this the previous one? Yeah. So it's got to be top, then left, then X. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. If I'm going up and down, the previous one will be that on the top. All right, let's save this, see if it works with just this button. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's pointing in the wrong direction. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Ugh. What are they doing for this? Are they changing the SVG? Oh no, they're just, oh look, they're just rotating 90 degrees. That's smart. So if that's pointing this way, it's gonna point up, and if it's pointing that way, it's gonna point down. Okay, let's add rotate 90. There you go. This one will go up. And now let's move this one down here. This is going to be messy again. Okay. Where's type button? Is it an after class? Yeah, it is. Change surrounding would be. Is it change surrounding? No, that's not it. Change surrounding. This with this? No. I was trying to figure out because I'm learning wing motions. There's a way that I can just say chain surrounding double quotes with single quotes, but it's not doing it on a multi-line. So fastest thing to do is just to replace this one and replace this one. Okay, now all the way up to full rounded. Close this one and open another one. In fact, I'm going to just copy this. All the way up to here. Yoink. Paste. Now, I have to change a few things here. This is still for horizontal, and instead of top, let's do bottom. Left is the same, and translate X half, that stays the same. Rotate 90 also stays the same. Let's try that. There you go. Boom, boom. Next. Back. And if we want, change the option and everything lines up perfectly. Yeah, that looks good. And also, if we change this to false. Really? You're not doing that? Oh, if I pass false, is it gonna go back? It's going to go to true by default? Is that what's happening? Why are you still looping? Passing false as loop. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that option because apparently I can't turn it off. Did I lose frames? Okay, look at that later on. See if I can just turn it off on command. So we have loop, we may have duration, we have the flipping of the buttons, orientation is working. I guess the next thing I want to work on before this gets any messier is let's break this down into components. Because I hate this monstrosity here. So I guess we're gonna have a hierarchy of components, the root of the carousel, and then we're gonna have carousel slides. So carousel, then a carousel component, then a slide component, and then most likely a button component of some sort. So let's start with the base. Let's start with the slide because we already have this. This is the base component of the carousel, the index. So we have to start breaking this apart. And let's do it starting with the slide. Okay, in our package, resources, views, components, carousel. Let's create a new file here. Let's call it slide.blade.php. And let's borrow the contents of the slide. So it'll be, this represents one slide. In fact, what actually represents the content of a slide is from here to here. So that's the content of the slide. So we can delete this. and just say slot. So in theory, just with that change, we can go back here and I'm going to grab this content, this single slide. Did I do it right? No, I didn't do it right. Hold on. Too much. This is the slide content. It includes the rounded border and the small shadow around the actual slide. So here in the component, not here. Let's actually go out. That means that this carousel component, so all of the slides, all of these are supposed to go out into the demo. So I'm going to do something real quick. So in the demo page, in our demo project, instead of just self-closing this, I'm going to add a closing tag. And here I'm going to add these, the new components. So that'll be X carousel. That's the, I'm forgetting the word, the namespace, and then carousel for the folder, and inside that folder there is the slide component. And that slide component has the, do I have it on the registry? 0, I think. Never mind. I'm gonna copy it again. Like so. So we have the carousel component, and inside the carousel component we are going to have slides, and each slide can have their own content. In this case we're just rendering a square, but now that means let me copy this a few times. First of all, that'll be second, and third. That means that I have to go back to the carousel component index, and I can just stop rendering all of the slides. So from here, let's go down. Is that? I think that's it. Okay, and here I can just say slot, save here, save here. Let's go back outside and everything should still work the same way. Perfect. Now all of the slides are in their own component, and it's more modular, and the user can choose how many slides to have and what's the content of each slide. Perfect. And the components code is starting to look a lot cleaner. Let's work on that button now. Let's create another. In fact, since the button seems to have a lot in common. Like the only thing that changes between one button and the next is the click event and the default classes. And it only changes on these other classes, and then yeah. Oh, and the SVG. I just don't want to reproduce or duplicate this same code in two different components if they are so similar. So let's do this. Instead of just creating two new files here for two buttons, let's just create a new folder instead. And let's call it, I don't know, buttons? Not buttons, buttons. So what I can do is create a base component. So base.blade.php, and that's going to have all of the classes and all of the code for the button that is shared between the two, the previous and the next. So let's see how that looks. Let's grab one of the buttons and let's start working on it. So yoink, and where did it go? Here, paste. What did you do? Oh, you took... Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. No, in fact, it's not fine. Undo what you just did. I like it this way because I can see. How are we gonna do this? So what I want to do is have like X carousel, because we have to use the namespace. Carousel buttons. This is what the previous, so previous. So I want to have a component like that. And I guess I can just pass the click event as a property. And also, what else? I guess that's it. The classes, I can just pass them inside the component. And let's work our way from top to bottom. So I want to use the previous button here. And of course, this is going to have the SVG as a slot. Let's copy this here. So that's how I want to look. I want it to look. So that means I'm going to need another file here. New file. Previews.blade.php. And how that's going to look is something like X carousel. Again, we have to use the namespace, and then carousel buttons dot base. I guess the click event has to be in here, not outside. Yeah. And also in this component, I want to pass the classes. I want to use the class again, actually. And then just use the classes that change. In this case would be from here to here. Cool. There we go. Okay, so guess I lost closing parameter here. This is getting messy again. I get it. Guess I didn't have it. Oh, here it is. Let me move this down a bit for better visibility. This one too. In fact, let's just move this down too. Okay, so I want to use the base component, pass the click handler, because I know this is a previous button, and then just use the class to render whether if it's for horizontal or vertical. Yeah. And then I can have the slot here. Do I want to have a slot here? I don't, right? Just need, oh yeah, the base component has a slot. So here I pass the SVG. Let me go grab that. I don't know if I want to self-close this previous button, just in case I want to easily swap the SVG. I guess that makes sense. So that'll render the base, and the base will have a slot as well. So we're gonna pass that to the base. Okay, so now I need to pass these two parameters onto the base component. I'm gonna have problems with this orientation though, because that's from the parent. Oh, I can use, it's from the parent, and use aware. Orientation. If you didn't know about aware, it's basically I'm just telling this component that basically to be aware that there is a parent property called orientation. So it's Everything that property from the parents is going to be available in the child component, which is very useful for not having to drill down properties down to child components when you're doing this kind of nesting. So this base component here has a prop called orientation, and if I call aware on the child, then that value is going to be available here. Okay, that's taken care of. What I'm hoping is that this is going to render a class attribute. So in the base component, can I merge those? How can I merge those? Maybe if I just do... Actually, let me get this out of here. I don't like... It looks messy. I'd rather have the classes in a string outside of there. Why is everything so not indented? Okay, that's better. So here I can just say classes. Should I make an array of this? Probably. I'm just gonna make this one big line, and I know it's not gonna be pretty, but at least I don't really have to worry about this classes too much. They're all default, so they can just be on their own line. Making sure I respect the spaces there. And a comma at the end. So those are the defaults. And now I just need to get the ones from the parent. Can I just do... Would that work? I hope it does. That'll give me just the value of the class, so that's fine. So then I can come down here. And just pass. Just call class with the classes. the ones that are default. And wait, yeah, because the one in the button here is going to render the one based on the value. So this class is going to be, I'm hoping that this render class is going to be executed or rendered before rendering the content for the actual base button. So this will be rendered. That'll be a class attribute that is going to have whether left or top. And then the base button is going to just get that class and mix it up in this array of classes. There will be no conditions, but at least I can just mix the default ones with the ones that are coming from the previous button component and just render them all like this. I guess it's just one way to find out, right? Let me see if I'm missing something. The click, yeah. I need to pass this click attribute. So I'm guessing I'm gonna do something very similar. Instead of doing this, I'm gonna say add click, and in here, say attributes get add click. Okay, let's save this. Save this as well. And go back here. And I'm guessing we can just use that previous button with the SVG and just delete this one. Hopefully that'll work. Save it and yeah. Reload. So unable to locate class or view component. Yeah, typo there. Where's that? In the previous. Really? Did it work? Previous? Yay! It worked. First try. That's a first, literally. Okay, so now we have a button component that is called previous, and that previous is also making use of a base component, and it looks a lot better. And the base component is the one that is kind of so-so, but the SVG, I have to remove this. This is actually the content, so still working. Good. So the base, we have a base component, we have a previous component, so now it's a lot easier to create the next button because it's just this same button, but just changing these classes, changing the classes and the method. So let's create another file here. New file, next.blade.php. Let's take the previous one. Yoink, paste, and change the method, crawl next, and the classes, instead of left, this is gonna be right, and instead of top, gonna be bottom. And I think that's it. Now we can go to the index and make use of X carousel, next, sorry, buttons, next, and just bring over this SVG all the way here. And get rid of this. It works. It works. Awesome. Look at this. How much better the code looks now. We have nesting components. We don't have any drilling properties. We are passing options. The code looks so much better. Not just this one, not just the package one, but the demo one as well. We have a carousel component. We have slides. We don't see buttons here. We don't have to worry about those. Those change based on the orientation. Everything's looking well. This is fun. This is fun. What else? What else? What else? Guess we can, as they call it, quit while you're ahead. So let's just make a pause here. I have a lot of homework to do. Implementing at least 3 more options. Delay speed, outer loop, see if I can accept closures on the package, and also that's going to be very useful on the Filament plugin. And what else? I have to remember to switch this to the compiled version before we move on. Once we have everything working, I have to switch this to the compiled version. Okay, thank you everyone. We're gonna cut it here. A lot of progress today. Everything just went smoothly, which is nice for a change after a disastrous week last week. And thank you everyone for being here. Daniel, Dejit, Will, always so many good suggestions. Thank you so much. Shane, thank you for stopping by. And Marcio as well. Thank you for being here, everyone in the chat. I guess I'll see you next week with this same project, and I'll see you on Friday for the Kanban board. And give me a like, always helpful with the channel. And subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't, so that you don't miss any other live streams. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. This is going to be an awkward pause so that the stream does not end abruptly. Okay, bye.